I believe these masks work, and I believe that we need to wear them to keep each other safe, not just yourself, but others. I have not sat down in a restaurant and eaten since this come out because you can't eat with this mask on, and I understand that. I mean, we're just applying a little bit of common sense. So I do carry out or takeout because I don't want to be exposed to the people that's having a jolly good time up in there, swapping spit and whatever else they swapping, and then I get contaminated. So I choose to go where I need to go and do in a safe manner. But at the same time, if I bump up into you in the Lowe's and you chatting and spitting and I don't have my mask on and you don't have yours on and you're carrying something, then here we go. Or if I'm carrying something. And as you probably have looked at the numbers, there's a lot of us that's asymptomatic, more than we thought. Meaning you walking around healthy and fine, but you spreading the crap out of this mess. It's an invisible disease. I ask right now, and I asked this to a council member yesterday, how many of y'all up here gets a ticket for improper signal or no signal? Police don't enforce that either, not unless you're wrecked. But it's on the books. You know, everything is not going to be enforced as on the books or not on the books, but what we're trying to do is just have our citizens to be a little bit more responsible by having some buy-in into what is going to be healthy until we can figure all this out.
Cass Sunstein, Obama's informations are. Now, the interesting thing is what these people believe in. They say with their own words, they tell us what they believe in. So he's written a paper in which he spoke about the need to challenge conspiracy theorists, and the government needs to do so. This is the paper, and in this paper, there's a very interesting word that he uses.
So here's what he wrote. Government might itself engage in counter-speech, marshaling arguments to discredit conspiracy theories. Government might formally hire credible private parties to engage in counter-speech. Government might engage in informal communication with such parties, encouraging them to help. Each instrument has a distinctive set of potential effects or costs and benefits. And there at the bottom, our main policy idea is that government should engage in cognitive infiltration of the groups that produce conspiracy theories, which involves a mix of 3, 4, and 5. Let's read the top. What can government do about conspiracy theories? Among the things it can do, what should it do? We can readily imagine a series of possible responses. Government might ban conspiracy theorizing. Government might impose some kind of tax, financial or otherwise, on those who disseminate such theories. I mean, so yeah, I mean, like just total control. This is certainly not based on the Constitution and the dream of America.
So cognitive infiltration means getting inside your head, under your skin, and weaponizing you to act as an agent of the state against your neighbors and against everybody else, that your friends and family. The term there, cognitive, what they use there, cognitive infiltration, is what I would like just a moment to dwell on, because I think it's an incredibly sinister term. Now, it's not just talking about planting government assets within opposition groups who they're calling conspiracy theorists. That would be bad enough. It's also not just, and that's where you begin seeing that during this COVID period, our friends, family, loved ones, people we thought were friends, began turning against us if we weren't singing from the same hymn sheet. So I believe they've achieved to some extent that cognitive infiltration, the weaponization of human beings. It's talking about false flags. It's also not just talking about spying on them. Now, cognitive infiltration, I believe, takes it a step further. What I believe this is referencing is weaponizing our thoughts against us and our fellow people in society, our fellow citizens.
We're not telling you that you can't have your liberties and freedoms. What we're telling you, let's live, let's survive, let's not infect the ones that may not be able to overcome this virus. I have 2 80-year-old parents. I deal with a lot of old people. I deal with a lot of people with underlying conditions. I work every day with young people. They can carry the virus. Prime example, Keisha Lane Bottoms. That's the mayor of Atlanta, for the ones that don't know her. Child brought it to her, asymptomatic. Gave it to her husband, she's asymptomatic. Gave it to her, she's asymptomatic. Her husband had it, and he is having a rough time right now trying to recover. Everybody can't be asymptomatic, and everybody's not going to survive this. So let's at least have the human decency to take care of one another until we can get better measurements on controlling this virus. None of us put it here, none of us want it here. But I'm telling you, people, it is killing people. That's not a secret. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
How would you weaponize human beings against other human beings? Through cognitive infiltration. Let's talk you through this. So you remember that phrase, abide by the COVID mandate so that you don't kill grandma. We had that here in the UK. I don't know if in the US it was as popular, but they told us that if we break those mandates that Susan Michie was referring to, we'd be guilty of killing our grandparents. Now, if you can use the media, corporatist media, to spread propaganda, because that's the right word for it, that convinces the populace that by breaking these mandates, they're going to kill their loved ones. What you succeed in doing is turning them into weapons of enforcement. They will willingly, without the need for a policeman to help them do so, snitch on their neighbors. They will willingly use physical force if they need to stop you killing your grandma. Their grandma is very well versed in how to use ideology to subvert our social contract and the values that make up the core of our society. And I believe that they know exactly what they're doing here.
I just want to say to all of you up here, thank you for the resolution on the face coverings, masks, whatever you want to call them. That's you too, Mr. Jones. I have respect where you stand and don't have an issue where you voted. But I do want to make a point that we need to wear them because people are looking at us as leaders. And with that being said, you never know who's looking at you. So not only doing it because it's the law, but also do it because you are a leader of this community and of this county, and that you know you have eyes on you when you think you don't have eyes on you. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
If you were to look up who paid the largest criminal fine in history, the results that pop up is Pfizer and GlaxoSmithKline, two big pharmaceuticals. The assumption that these companies exist for your benefit is one that really must be interrogated. They exist for profit, and you are the product. You are the thing that needs to be exploited for the purposes of profit. Our states were no longer serving their people, but rather they were serving vested interests for the purposes of maximizing profit. That's fascism.